Start. All right, we're starting. We're starting episode 5. Finishing up everything we started with Poppy. So
So anyways, I mean, there's so many stories you can go back to. One of those stories was that I was with my neighborhood friends, and when we went out, we used to get in trouble, do things, and we found this one place. Joe's next door neighbor was out of town. We ended up going to this place, and this place was unbelievable. I mean, it was like a embassy, like an ex-ambassador from a different country would live there, and it was somebody's full-blown house, completely just a beautiful house. And we went in there, and before you know it, we found guns. We found guns. We found little machine guns. They were like Uzis. We found revolvers. We found all sorts of stuff, and we used to wear them and play like cowboy movies. Be like, see how fast we could shoot them. Oh yeah, we were going around playing like that. And Joe says to us, he says, "All right, look, if they find us here, I'm gonna kill everybody, and then I'll shoot myself." So then I was like, okay. I said, "This is it. This guy's crazy. He's gonna kill us. We better not."
wait, was he older? He was older than you, right?
He's the same age.
Oh, damn! He set that mindset.
He's the one that instigated the whole thing.
Oh, okay.
He's the one that got us to do it.
He was like the posse leader.
Yeah, we were like, he was one of the group guys that he thought he could do because he was next door. He probably went in there without telling us. Then he says, "Okay, let's go."
Yeah.
Because he knew nobody was there. You know what I mean? It was his next door neighbor for a long time. So that's what he was. But we were so young. We were totally irrational. Okay, we were just kids playing.
Yeah.
And in there we saw that, and then we were shooting in the garden, shooting at things and doing things. Then we called it our club, and it was Operation Pirate. That was a nickname. It was like a nickname. I mean, I was 7 years old. I remember all these things so clear. And we went in there and did all these crazy things. We pretty much destroyed their home. I mean, destroyed it. They had I remember there was a whip. Those leather whips and stuff they had in there, like real leather whips. We would just hit things like you could see anything in there and try to grab it. Try to hit them. The guns.
Indiana Jones.
We started to just. That house became a total mess, completely messy. We went in there day after day, like 3 days out of the week. We will meet there and go play. Pretty much playing with the house. Other guys, older brothers, got involved in it. They find out about it that we were in there, and they went in there and robbed the place.
Oh,
and they took like people's you're talking about their life silverware and like.
So you guys weren't robbing; you were just playing around and kind of destroying.
We were playing around, having like a club, having a club, making all these crazy stories and stuff. No, but the funny thing is that after a while, it was like a whole summer went by, and I remember clearly that these guys went in there and said, "Hey man, what happened to this thing? What happened to that?" "Oh, I think somebody took that." And I said, "Well, who's coming in here? Who's coming in there?" And I said, "Oh, I think somebody came in there. Somebody." So these guys went and told somebody, and they went in there and did it. But tell a long story short, what happened is the horrible thing that happened is that the son of the lady was an ex-ambassador from France. Was actually the owner, and the son was. I'll never forget this because the guy was huge. He was like 6'4", karate expert. He came in and he spot me because that guy Joe ended up giving everybody away.
Yeah.
Who was in here? Who did this to my house? So everybody got in a lot of trouble. So they went to look for everybody. They find out that these other kids went in there, these older kids. They were like 18 years old.
Yeah.
Okay. And they got into a lot of trouble for what they did. I went in there. We all got questioned. This guy put us in different rooms and questioned us to death. Like saying, "If you don't tell me, I'm going to kill you." I'm walking to the store. I'm walking to this was on the way to like the central store where you go buy things for the family. And I'm walking there, and it's like, "Oh, there he is!" Like,
Ricardo.
I'm ready to run for my life. It's like, "Hi." I'm like, "Hi." It's like, "Get over here!" He's like, I said, "Hey, what's going on?" He's like, "You're in my house. You're." And it's like,
literally out of the movies.
Yeah, no, it was completely out of the movies. This is downtown Santiago. Providencia is like a really well-to-do area.
Yeah.
If you look at it now, you'll see what I'm talking about. We can probably Google the place. But we don't want to go that far.
Jamie.
Get rid of some of the stuff. But I remember so clear that happened, and he questioned us. He questioned us to death. He's like, I just said, "Look, this is what I did. This is what happened. We played. I used to call it this," and I told him the truth about everything. So he believed me. He even thought that the other guy was lying. The guy who told him me, he was lying because he didn't tell him half the story. I told him exactly what happened. I said, "This is what happened. We destroyed the place."
Yeah.
I said, "I'm so sorry."
Oh, so you got snitched on?
Yeah, pretty much.
Did you beat up the snitch?
Snitch was the guy who got us into
They're
this.
7 years old too.
That was his name to do it.
Yeah,
So
no,
Oh, he was
Right,
fighting
yeah.
back then.
yeah, no,
He was
no,
fighting
we were back
everybody.
then. I was ready to like, that shit is crazy. But you know what happened is that when that happened, I remember so clear. I mean, look, I'm only 7 years old. I'm like, I'm a kid. I'm a real. I mean, yeah, I stupidity totally.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't believe that this is happening. But the guy scared the shit. I mean, he put me in some room. Locked me up in a room. He locked the other kid in another room, another floor, another room, and the wife was sitting around in a chair, looking around like this really beautiful blonde lady. And we were just freaked out. And this guy's huge. He's like, kill every one of you guys. And I'm going to do this. I'm like, oh my god, I better get like that.
Some
now,
karate
I better get
instructor.
like that. Yeah, no, he was playing it off. He was playing all that off. But he finds out what happens. He finds out what's going on. But as soon as he finds out that the 18-year-olds were involved, he says, okay, we got to go talk to your parents. So then he took us in. And then they called DINA, which is like CIA, in Chile.
Holy
DINA.
shit.
Yeah, so it turned into a huge thing.
Wait, so you were involved with the CIA at 7 years old?
Yeah, 7 years old. No, I was taken in professionally. They took me in for investigation. And
what were you thinking? You're like dealing with the
I was
government.
I'm dead right now.
Yeah,
this is
you
it. I'm
probably
dead.
think your
I'm going-
dad's gonna end
I'm
your
going
life,
through
man.
these
So your
doors.
parents
and things
had
like
to
that.
have found out.
No, my father found out, but luckily my father was well connected.
Yeah.
My
Oh,
father-
yeah, because he was
my father was a
diplomat.
No,
Oh, later
this is
on,
before.
yeah.
This is before when he was a lawyer for the government.
Yeah. I remember.
He was
you
a
said
lawyer
that.
for the government, so he knew and he was well connected. He says, "Okay, you're in big trouble." He says, "You're in big trouble. Why did you do this? Why? Like he just wanted to tell me, okay, you're going into the service. We're going to put you in the army. You're done.
I'll
You
think your
can't.
life's
This
gone,
is
man.
he was like, you're going into the army and that's it. We're gonna have to take you away. We have to find an excuse." But I wouldn't get away right away. We got juvenile probation
Oh,
from the whole thing because we destroyed the house so bad. My father said, "Is there anything we can do to support to renew things?" Because they couldn't bring anything back. The guys stole it. The other kids,
Yeah,
the older kids that took that,
it's gone.
they sold everything. They got
Long
it. They
gone,
sold
yeah.
it. They were living the life of the kings. They were like, getting around in limousines and driving and spending all their money.
Yeah, they made
It
out.
was really bad news, and we were just idiots, in between these kids that didn't have no know what's going on. But it was a huge lesson for me. It's like, okay, that's something that I never wanted to do ever again at a young age. Finding out this is what happened. So it was a huge lesson, but it was an experience.
But that's what I wanted to say. It's like a recurring theme with your stories. It's like you went through a lot of crazy stuff growing up as a youth. You did a lot of stuff that a lot of people would crave to do once they're older, like this trouble. But I think it probably matured you, and so by the time you were older, you're like, I don't need to do all this stuff. I've already done it when I was like 10 years old, and it gives you a better head on your shoulders a little bit.
You you couldn't think of it that way. I can tell you one thing that I remember when I arrived here. That things changed for some reason. I felt things change, like my conscience kicked in. I didn't have a conscience before.
Yeah.
Before that, I wouldn't even think twice.
You're more a little bit like, all right, now I gotta watch out, like at least a little bit.
No,
more, right?
now I was totally aware of things.
Yeah.
I shouldn't touch this. It's not mine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Before I was like, oh, I love this. I'm taking it.
Go ahead.
And it was as simple as that. Now then
Yeah.
that kicked in around 13 years old. I think my conscience kicked in, and I was like, wow.
One thing you did mention to me about your dad, he had you and all the older brothers do cold
Oh,
shower.
I saw that.
That was a tough thing. That was a tough thing. He used to do it every single morning. We were just crazy, and especially on the weekends. We thought we were like ready to go play or ride our bicycles with our friends or do anything like that. No, he was like cold showers, and we're going up to San Cristobal, which is the hill right on Santiago. It's like a huge mountain up there, and it has a huge Christ on top, just like in Brazil. They have one like that. They have one in Chile, right in Santiago. There's one right by El Rio Mapocho. Anyways, it's over there, and he used to make us run up to there with all of us. You pick up all the boys and run with him up there. And that was exciting. That was a great thing. I think that was a good thing. All the other things I got into, that was before that.
I feel like your father taught you a lot of good discipline and those things growing up, though, which is like, because you've always told me stories like that where your father taught you like literally like discipline and like.
Oh yeah, no.
And
he was a disciplined person.
You
That's
said
the problem
to
too.
me,
That's why the discipline was so hard sometimes that I would run away from it. Yeah, he would spank the hell out of you.
And a big thing.
It was
a big thing you said to me the other day was he told you have to have initiative.
Oh yeah, no.
And that's you in life.
He's always been like that. Always. You have to have initiative. If you don't have initiative, you don't have anything.
It's true.
You have to have initiative. So what are you gonna do? maybe I'm going to do it, or I don't know what I'm going to
Yeah.
do. He'd be like, what do you mean you don't know? You got to know what you got to do, you know? She would like push it into you. So it was like one of those things that, yeah, he definitely engraved it on us. But, you know, you got to remember, I'm the third one down. So my two older brothers took a harder beating than me. So they were more like, you know,
Yeah.
I was more like a little more like, I tried to get away from stuff.
You always told me about the stories when you were leaving your body. You had those astral
Okay,
projections.
so yeah, so well, it's kind of a scary stuff in a way. I mean, for kids, are like, you know, I used to when I before I went to sleep, you know, right before I go to sleep, I would feel my body just leaving me, like, you know, as soon as I was about to pass out, so I would just jump up because I was just like trying to, no, I don't want to, you know, I don't want to go right now, you know, like my body literally, I'm about to go to sleep, and all of a sudden I'm leaving my body like this, and I feel myself just lifting, you know. And sometimes it was really scary. So it was just, I was like, no. So I want to come back, you know, because sometimes you lose control. It wasn't simple, like you can just go. But sometimes it was really joyful. Like I was totally aware of it, and I would just lift my body, and I'd be able to go and go outside the house. I would leave my body and go outside and be looking down at the house and looking down at my neighbors, and I would go see neighbors. I would go see family, my cousins, and things like that. I was able to travel, you know, and then come back into my body later. And it was amazing. It was, and I did this for a long time, for a very, very long time.
What do you think about like doing that? Like, how did that even make you feel? Like being able to do that? Were you like, am I gifted, or like, what were you thinking in your head?
I
Like,
thought in my mind it was something that I could do only. And
yeah,
I thought I was, you know,
I probably think that too.
I thought I was very, you know, I thought it was a gift. You know, I thought it was just crazy that I'm allowed to do this, and I'm allowed to see these things, and be able to fly, sort of, you know. So leaving my body, I didn't understand it completely, you know. Later on, it happened to me later on when I was older, and it started to happen again, and I did it quite a few times. It was actually happening 7020 Hill Road in Bethesda, and I was able to leave my body many times, but it was scary too. You know, a couple of times I don't know if I was coming back to my body or not. You know, you get pretty scared because I was very aware. You know, I was like, by then I was, I want to say I was, God, I want to say I was probably 16. Yeah, about 16, 15, 16 years old. And I had that one experience. The one experience that really freaked me out was I'm laying down. My brother Marcelo's here, and I'm here on my bed. And Marcelo's here by the window, and I'm here by the door. And I'm sleeping this way. I'm sleeping like this sideways. So I'm sleeping right there, and I'm like, and I feel this heat. The heat was so intense. It was like, man, it was so hot. You know, like, oh my God, man, what the hell is going on? So I wake up, and I'm like, Marcelo, hey, wake up. You know, I'm trying to wake him up. I'm like, man, I'm afraid to turn around. The heat is so heavy. So he won't wake up. He says, you know, sleeping away. I'm like, man, he won't wake up. So I turn around, and there's a full body laying there, like full body of light. And the head is like this, and the whole body's there. And it's like a minute or so, just, I'm, you know, like freaked out. This thing is next to me, and I cannot believe it. This thing is alive, and I'm going, what the hell is going on? You know, so I'm jumped out of the bed. This is seconds, really, when you think about it. I think it's a minute. Seconds that I'm like, God, I'm like, this thing is alive. I run to the bathroom. I'm like, waiting my head. I'm dreaming, you know. No, I'm awake. You know, this is real. It's right there, and it was there for so long. And I'm like, what the hell was this? And I could feel the heat still in my body, you know, like I still feel it. So I'm going, what the hell? So I run to my mother's room, all the way on the other side, my dad and my mom's room. I'm like, wake up. I'm like, wake up. You know, like they're like, sleep, you know. So I'm like, look, something happened to me. There was a body of a light, a huge body next to me, like warm, really hot. You know, they come down. You know, they wake up and they're like, come down. We don't know what's going on. You know, like, what happened? What did you see? My mom, look, it could be somebody coming to visit you. I'm like, what do you mean coming to visit me?
Oh, like, yeah, spiritually.
Yeah, something spiritual. So I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean? Like, you know, it's like, it could be your dad, you know, it could be your grandmother, it could be anybody, you know, it could be, you know, it could be a lot of people that somebody's coming to visit you. It could be a spirit coming to visit you. And I was like, oh my God, I don't want a spirit coming to visit me. You know what I mean? It really scared me. Well, the next day, I'm freaked out. I cannot go back to sleep like that ever again. I'm like sleeping like this. I'm like this. Back to the bed. I'm going, man, I'm not going to sleep that way anymore. You know, like something's going to show up in the back.
You're petrified. You're like, oh,
I'm scared. I'm scared at that age. Believe it or not, I'm scared. Well, the next day, my mother and my father wake up, and there is the figure of light in front of them, standing up in front of the bed. And my father doesn't believe in anything like that. He is a science man, you know. He believes in this and this and this, and that's it. Everything else, forget about it.
Yeah.
You know, this is the way it is. We come from the monkeys, and this is what we do. You know, boom, boom, boom. You know, he's like all science. You know,
Yeah.
it's like after that day, they tell me next morning, they're like, I saw exactly what you saw, and I don't understand it. I don't have no idea what that is. You know, it's something out of this world. I said, but we saw it. So we understand how you seen it. You seen it. We saw it now. You know, your mother saw it, and I believe your mother that she's seen things like this before. So ever since that day, I never really saw that again. But that was the day that I saw it. Now I looked it up. There's something about it's called Illuminata or Illuminata or something like that.
Illuminati?
No.
Illuminati. Yeah, look it up. Look it up.
Something different.
It's a figure. It's a light figure. Look it up on Google. I think they do have information on it. I haven't really looked it up like that. I saw it one time on a sticker. It says Illuminati or something like that. Illuminati or something. Illuminata.
I think you're talking about like a secret society, babe.
No. It's something to do with that.
There's a word for a secret society called Illuminati, but this is something different.
No,
Yeah.
this is something about the spirits, you know, or
Yeah.
light, or beings. Could be beings
Oh,
from somewhere
like
else.
illumination, probably.
Yeah, it's
That's-
illumination.
okay, yeah.
Yeah, but you can be illuminating. You
Yeah,
can be,
yeah,
you know,
Yeah.
like people would tell you, hey, you're in drugs or something. I mean,
Yeah.
come on, you know. But it was real. And then my mother saw it, and my father saw it. My father never believed in something like that. To me, that was kind of a relief. Okay, this happened, and it's not bull crap, you know. You know, something that just happened, but it was a real thing that happened, and it happened here in Bethesda.
I got another funny story I want you to talk about. You got to use incognito names, okay? So don't use the real names. You can say it's Jeff, okay?
Jeff.
But there was a
Bob.
story when you were at a party in high school and somebody put acid in the fruit punch.
Oh, that's
And I
good.
want you to reflect us on that story because that's a
Nice
funny
one.
one.
So that was a pretty scary stuff. That was a pretty intense night. We were invited to a good friend of mine's
Let's make it.
party. It's up in by
Doesn't matter where it was, man.
it's in the area of Mass Avenue.
Yeah.
You know, Mass Avenue. It's called Little something Hills. It's right there by Little Falls.
Yeah.
Little Falls.
Okay.
Okay, right by area Little Falls. You know Little Falls Mall? You know MacArthur Boulevard?
Yeah.
And it's Mass Avenue, and then you got River Road.
Oh, okay.
And then you
Yeah.
got Wilson Lane. Well, it's right up here on the hills.
Okay.
Because all my buddies went to Western, they went there. And, you know, and the guys that went to North Bethesda was down here and then piled, you know.
So it's
So
a big
everybody-
house, right?
Oh, yeah, no, it's a
Mansion.
big, oh, yeah, it's a big house.
Okay, yeah. Big
And,
party. Everybody's there.
Parents out of town. And they got a special punch. This punch is a
Project
great
X.
punch, you know. They put like all sorts of 200 alcohol, whatever, on there. But then one of the guys dumped in there a bunch of little Mickey Mouse things.
Oh shit.
This is back in 1970 something, and they did that, and they dumped enough in there of this little Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse had a little thing like this, and he's going like this with a trail of all different little colors coming through. Okay, like a little sparkler.
Okay.
And he came in a little tiny thing like this, and you can see Mickey Mouse in there. Mickey Mouse was there, and he had little, you know.
What you're talking about right now?
Yeah,
What-
Wait, were you already tripping at this point?
No,
Or
no,
this
no,
is,
this
oh,
is the real deal.
okay, yeah.
And the guy says, "Oh yeah, I dumped the whole sheet on there." Like, what? You know, this.
How much
is
had you drinking of it?
Oh, I'm already like 2 or 3 of them punches. You know?
Oh shit, yeah, you're
So
done. You're
everybody
cooked.
all of a sudden is just like, wow. Everybody's just boom.
If something like that happened today, that'd be
No,
insane.
you're fucked.
Yeah.
No. It was one of those things that you could not believe. You know, I could not believe. Look. The next day we were still.
Yeah.
The next day we were seeing things that you just out of this world. You know, so you couldn't really go to rest because it was just so much in
And
there.
you're tripping hard.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. It was one of those things that took it out of this world. And I remember the girls that were, oh my God, everybody's like, it was just a wild night. It was an incredible night. Now that triggered to other things. I mean, there's sometimes, you know, we were in the Potomac, you know, where you guys used to go jumping off or whatever. But there's a place up. If you go up, there's a place there. You go and you can sneak through there and go into the area where the water is, you know. And we started a fire up there. And after the trip, must have been like, I don't know, we were there for like 14 hours or something like that. And by the time we came out, the poor dog, Jackson, was there. You know, the dog was there. And Jackson was like, I remember Jackson kind of like looking at us like, man, I'm freezing, man. We didn't feel a thing. We didn't feel a thing. We just light up a fire, and we were there, and we were going crazy for like 14 hours in the same spot there. We were like in the woods, in the middle of a snowstorm. And the storm was so huge, it was like the snow everywhere. By the time we got out of
What the
there,
hell? So you were at Billy Goat during a snowstorm and you lit a fire
oh yeah, we
in
were
the
like,
water.
yeah,
What the hell?
right. The water's right there. We
It's
were like
crazy.
right by the thing.
Yeah, no wonder the dog was cold.
Oh, the dog was like probably freaking out. He lasted. He was the best dog in the world. I mean, the guy I was with, he was a really smart guy. I mean, he could handle it all. You know what I mean? So we were able to handle everything. But definitely the way it was done, like somebody dumping in there, that was totally uncontrolled. You know, but people would do things like that back then.
Yeah.
It was totally
then.
out of control because a lot of people
Insane.
freaked out. Like I remember one kid that did it. He never. I don't think it's still the same now today.
Yeah, it can permanently leave people like seriously messed up.
Really got scared. You know, he was so scared he was hiding behind this tree, and I had to go talk to him so many times and be like, "Look, man, everything is okay. All right, where you're looking at, this doesn't exist. Just look, everything is okay. We're here. Everything is okay." He's like, "No, no, no, don't go anywhere. Don't move, man. Don't move." I was like, "Whoa." He was so freaked out by it, and I was like trying to help him, you know, because I was like in my heart, I'm always trying to help people, you know. So in my heart, I was trying to help him. I'm like, man, you shouldn't have taken this thing and drink a lot of water, do something, you know, like because he could not put together normality and what was happening. He could not differentiate what was happening. That it was just an illusion, that it was a temporary illusion. To him, it was like his life was over, you know, he was gonna die.
It's all distorted.
I'm dying, man. It's over, man. It's over. You know, and he didn't put it together, and that was a scary time. And you know, I saw him once, and he was a different human being. I saw him like 10 years later. He became a photographer in LA, but anyways, he became a different person. I saw him once only after that.
Oof.
But
I mean, that'll change you, man. Acid fruit punch is not the way, but I mean, you got through it. If I feel like that was me, if that was me, I would have been tripping my balls off, and not. I don't know. I don't think it would have lasted.
Because we already know how you are.
Yeah, we already know how I am with those hallucinogen kind of things. You know, I smoked weed that one time. I was tripping my balls off just off weed. So weed's not for me. But that, man, I'm like, you had some mental willpower to hold that in. Because if I showed up to a party and somebody put acid in the fruit punch, man,
I remember what I've been through since I was a kid.
Yeah.
So to me,
that's very true.
I was kind of a grown up.
Yeah, build you up.
Like it built me up. I've been through so much. You know, I've been through so much. I got into so much situations as a kid that when I got there, to me, I was pretty much up there. I was very quick with thoughts and thinking, you know, and situations. Like school to me was very simple. If I put my mind to it, it was no big deal. You know, but it was just very difficult for me to sit there and focus for a long period of time, especially after taking all those things. Those things will make you dream about everything else in the world, but focus into school work. You know, like after you take one of those things, one of those trips, you were just like, wow, your mind is just so powerful. You know, so it takes it to a different level. And you were like, you know, I'll be so upset with the teacher that they would teach you only one thing. And I'll be like, why are you? That's not true. Because now you have live internet. So now you cannot tell that the country is like this or like that. Now you can tell when people go and travel and they see it.
Yeah.
But before, it was not there. It was some book context that they will teach you out of the book.
Yeah.
And tell you, oh, this is the way things are here. People on horses, and you know, and this is what's going on. And I was like, what are you talking about? Horses, you know, what are you talking about? You know, yeah, no, this when we came like that, it was people on horses, you know. They teach you about Argentina, and it was like pampa, and they tell you about they have beef. They're great. They have beef, and they got a bunch of guys on a bunch of horses. They even show the city. Yeah, the guys on horses. Chile was worse. Chile was a bunch of kids running around with no shoes on, playing with a fake ball, you know, like. It was just a joke. I was just like, this is a joke, you know?
That'll make you hate history class.
Well, no, it was just pretty funny. I had to tell people, hey, this is not the way things are, you know? So then you thought maybe it was fake. They're not teaching you really the real thing, you know?
Yeah,
like,
it can mess with your mind.
What's real and what's not real here? That's why I like the sports a lot. You know, that's why I ended up wrestling for a while. But it was such a different time. But when I took those things, I was like, oh, my God, this is totally different. And everybody did it. Look. The hardest thing for me was when I came here. I remember it was so difficult for me to say no. You know, that was the most difficult part because all the girls were like, "Come on,
yes, man.
Smoke a little bit, smoke a little." I'm like, no, I got to go to the embassy tomorrow. I got to go do this. I got to go test this. You know, everything I could to fight it, but then eventually you give in because they're like, "Come on, just one toke." one toke, and then you're like, then you smoke, and you're like, oh my god, everything is different. That takes you to a different
That's
level.
still a problem today, man. Everybody folds to what everyone else wants them to do. Yeah, man.
The force
Powerful.
of influence. That's what you guys want to be influencers. It's really important to talk about things like like you mentioned it to me, like hey man, I don't feel good about it. If you're able to talk about it, I think that would be a huge power for kids to grow up and understand. I think people are more understanding now because they're talking about it more. But and that's why the people are overdosing on things and doing because it's so bad.
Yeah, man. You don't know the effects until you do it, and then it's
Yeah,
too
and
late.
that's too late. I mean, look, this is something that starts at a young age. At a young age, doing things like that. I mean, back in the '70s, I remember it was so normal. '60s, late '60s, and early '70s, LSD was like out of control. Started in
Yeah.
California, and then it went all the way to all the school systems and everywhere. And same
It
thing
was
with
like the new thing, right? The new
yeah,
drug
and
everybody's trying to try.
magic mushrooms, and then they had all the other stuff. It was crazy stuff that came back in those days. It used to come in because the soldiers brought it in, hashish, you name it, it was coming in.
Yeah.
It was just a normal thing. You went to the high school, your high school or your junior high school, it was all there. I remember my first time. I think I told you guys about this before, but my first time was in a AI class. It was a woodworking class. Okay, a woodworking class, and what was his name? Mr. Smith. I think it was Mr. Smith in Pyle Junior High. And this guy was he was like a muscle builder. He worked out. Great teacher. And he would teach you how to make wood, make cabinets, make things. He would turn wood, and I loved the class. But I remember that was the first time they really got me. They got me stoned. They really got me stoned. They said, "Take this toke," and I scared everybody out of the place. Everybody run away. Did I tell you guys about that? Then it was in Pyle Junior High. It was in the hallway, and the guy says, "Hey, everybody's in class. They say, come here, Ricardo, man, try this. It's like really good weed." I'm like, "Oh man, I don't know if I should do this thing." He said, "Oh, come on, just one toke, one toke." One toke. I didn't know what a toke was. All I know is like, I went on it, and I couldn't.
Yeah.
And like, whoa, I started coughing and coughing and coughing. Next thing you know, my God, I remember I was like, I got dizzy and I started laughing and laughing and laughing and laughing. Everybody ran away. They took the pipe, they took whatever and took off. And I could not come down from this thing. I was so high. I remember I went into the cafeteria. As soon as the thing was open, I didn't go back into the class. But I went into the cafeteria. You have to go through the whole way, all the way from the one side of the school to the other to get there. And I remember just laughing and looking at people, and people are laughing, and I'm laughing. I'm going, man, I could not stop laughing. I go into the cafeteria, and I'm trying to eat, and everything is coming out of me. I'm laughing and I'm spitting the food out. Oh my God, it was a horrible experience. I was like, oh my God, and everybody's going, man, what's wrong with you? Like, what's going on?
You're high as a kite.
Oh my God, I couldn't handle it. I was like, this is it. What the hell just happened to me? It was insanity. I was like, I'm never doing this again in my life. I couldn't stop. I couldn't get it out of my system. It was incredible. It was so strong. It was just weird. And it was one of those things. You get high once like that, and it never comes back again like that. Everything else was just like a normal thing. Yeah. This was just out of control. Put me out of my character.
All right, so let's go on back into the stories of your adventures. So I think we left off the last podcast in New Mexico.
You're picking my brain now.
You went from New Mexico to we didn't really go into Louisiana, but you said you wanted to go.
Okay, so no, Louisiana. See, what happens is New Mexico was after that. Louisiana was first. When we went into Louisiana, was first. Louisiana, we were at Louisiana State University, and we stayed at the dorms there. We stayed there for a while because my friend, actually the brother of the guy I was telling you about, anyways, the guy who was freaking out behind the tree, his older brother decided he knows we were on a trip, we were going there, and he's like, "You guys, I'm going with you guys." But really, what he wanted was a ride to Louisiana. Ride with his two kids and just have a good time and go down there. He just went with us and took us to all these parties over there because they were partying like crazy. He knew everybody there, and he was going to go to school there the next semester. So he had one semester in between. So he took us there, in Louisiana State University, and then we ended up having a fantastic time there. But it was just more like time with the girls and the dorms. We were young, and everything goes there. It was crazy. If a girl liked you, she just picked you up and said, "Come to my bed and just put the blankets on."
All right.
It was crazy. That was the way it was back then. Then after Louisiana, we went to We went to New Mexico. That's what we got to New Mexico. And New Mexico was insanity.
You told me about us a little about that. You said you know soccer down there. You got a job. You're staying with the girl.
Yes.
You said that it was where they were testing the nukes.
Oh yeah. They're definitely.
And you knew like the guy who ran the town, basically.
Yeah, he was the owner, one of the owners of the town. Basically, he owned most of the land there, Mr. Sidevaca. He owned the land in that area, and him and another guy who owned the Los Alamos Inn.
Yeah, Los Alamos.
They were really good people. I mean, I wonder if they're still around. I'm not sure if they are. You know, probably like 90 years old now. You know, they used to have soccer teams. But yeah, so Los Alamos was an experience of a lifetime. You know, that was really an experience. You know, I told you what happened in Los Alamos.
Yeah, I think most of it you did.
We end up in trouble. We end up in a car.
Yep.
And they have to.
38 to your head, 38 to your friend's head.
Well, no, that was in California.
Oh.
In Louisiana, what happens is we were at a party, and the one girl, I ended up falling in love with one of those girls, but the two girls said, "Hey, you want to go home with us?" And I was like, "Sure, you know, I'll go with you guys." So then we ended up going with them, and they had a bottle of tequila and this big doobie they smoked. You know, like. Anyways, we were in the car. They're like, "You drive." And I was like, "Sure, I'll drive it." You know, I wasn't a great driver or anything. 17, you know, so I'm like, I'm driving. They're like, "Oh, go this way, go that way." Next thing you know, we were naked in the car between these two trees. Like this, it was a Nova. It's a Chevy Nova. Okay, and I have the tequila, and they're smoking the doobie back and forth. And we were like in there, butt naked, and the police comes and go, and I'm like, and you can see the snow coming down. You know, it's like, what? You know, so I open the window, like, what? You know, like, get your clothes on and get out of the car. Like, get out of the car. You know, I'm like, and I can't even open the door because the house somehow, look, the trees are here, the house is here, and somehow the car got stuck. And we're in the middle of the snow. I mean, the snow is this big. You know, this is in the mountains. This is in the Sierra Mountains, you know.
How did you even get in there with the snow that big?
I don't even know how we got there. All I know is that we were there, butt naked, we were making out, and next thing you know, boom, the car is stuck in there. And the windows are there, so they get and I said no English.
No hablo inglés.
Yeah.
The funny thing was, I said no English, you know, just really quickly, and the girls are just trying to get their clothes on again, and I'm going, oh shit, man, what am I gonna do? They bring a Mexican police officer from the back that speaks Spanish, so I was like, oh shit. This is Los Alamos. Los Alamos is really, really huge on the police. They have like a really strong police department because it's international. All the kids are from all over the world. Because of the scientists, especially back then, and they finally get me out of the car. I tell them, hey, this is what happened. I was doing this, and the girl, you know, I tell them what's going on. So they arrest me. They took me in for the DUI, and her father was an admiral at the Navy.
Oh shit!
You know, so her father went to get me out. To go back in, unfortunately, it was an experience, but and that's something you might pull in and pull it out because that could be.
Probably gonna leave that, but yeah.
Because I took off from those people. But anyways, that would be a situation. Now that I think about it, if I recall myself, hold on a second. So what happened is that I get back. So I end up. Let me make a long story short. I end up meeting somebody. She got my license back, and I took off to go to San Diego.
Yeah, because you can use like fake names, obviously, but like you said, there was a girl that you had relations with, and you stayed at like her grandma's house, and you said this is the girl that you were in love with.
No, this is Debbie.
Okay, so that is her.
Debbie took me away. The lady who gave me the license back, that's another friend I met, another girl. Because look, this town had like eight girls to one guy.
What the fuck? It's a crazy ratio.
Eight girls to one guy. There was no guys up there. You know?
That's what every guy wants.
Oh,
Situation like that.
It was insanity. You go to the laundry room to do your clothes, and the girls will take you to their room. That's how simple it was. It was like there was no guys in there.
There ain't nothing like that.
No. It was like I was like, this is like. I look at my friend. I said, man, this is
fantasy
crazy.
world. Man.
This is what's going on here. Like I never knew existed something like that. You know. So next thing you know, like they'd be like, hey, you want to come to my room? You want to come to my room? You know, you want to come to my apartment? And it was
special laundry mat.
It was crazy. Look, girls with babies, girls with no babies, two girls.
Babies?
Yeah.
No babies.
But yeah, they had babies.
They had kids.
They had a little baby in a stroller sleeping over there, and they would take it to their room. And I'll be like looking at the baby, and I'm going,
where are the
dads?
dads? Yeah, his dads all leave them?
No dad, man, no dad.
Oh, so yeah, all these girls are probably getting pregnant, and then the guys are just leaving.
Yeah,
they just had kids.
1 to 8. 1 to 8. So it's 8 girls to 1.
And these guys are out.
How do you even
calculate
calculate that ratio?
Going to a big city. This is a small little town in the mountains. or they're in jail.
Oh yeah, or they're in jail. Yeah.
I mean, this
Alcoholics,
place was pretty bad.
Damn.
It was a crazy place.
Okay, so let's keep
But it
moving.
was a
Keep
great
moving.
experience. So look, when I met Debbie and I met her father, her father was a super nice guy. He actually lived in Annapolis before. So he knew, he find out who I was, and he says, "Oh no, regardless so and so, don't worry about it." I had immunity back then.
Yeah.
I was still a son of a diplomat. So it was thank God, all those things that happened to me along the way. They didn't know who I was. They didn't know what was going on. But once they find out, he got me out. They still got the thing for DUI, no matter what. You're gonna have to do this time here because you work for so and so. You're gonna have to do 100 some days. But anyways, I end up leaving, and I end up going. He goes, look, if you go to there, meet me at this place. She said, But we got robbed when we got
Yeah.
there. Okay, we got robbed, and then she found out about what happened, boom, boom, and next thing you know, that's when my friend got, finally left, and then I ended
Then it was just you.
I ended up moving in with Debbie, in one of her grandma's house.
Okay. Yeah. And
That's close to what's it called, La Mesa, which is right next to, pretty much right next to Mexico, right on the border.
yeah. So then you talked about last time living with like the grandma, living there, and then eventually things broke off between you and the girl.
Yeah.
They went south. What happened after that? You left California, right?
I left.
And where'd you go?
I left. Came back here.
Okay, and then what'd you start doing here? I know you probably went out in DC. You had fun here.
I came back, and my friend who did all that crazy stuff, he hooked me up with somebody and said, look, I know where you can get a job right now and do this. I said, okay, sure. So I went to work for her. She's a beautiful, wonderful lady. Well, if she listens to this, I'll be pretty bad news if she listens to all the stuff I've done. But anyways, it is what it is, I guess. So I ended up getting a job. As soon as I got back, I got a job with her right here in Chevy Chase. And wonderful, wonderful person. I mean, my God, her whole family, but she gave me hope too. You know what I mean? I came back and I was kind of beat up a little bit emotionally and so forth.
Yeah,
Sure,
and,
yeah.
a lot.
Seems
my
like
idea was to go back to school, to go do certain things, but then I ended up working for her, and that kind of got me centering. She trusted me with a lot of stuff, and that's when I used to go into the Pentagon. I used to be able to walk into the Pentagon. I was not even 18
Holy
yet.
shit.
And I used to be able to get into the Pentagon and go directly to the place I needed to go and pick up checks because she used to contract the government. And so she goes, Ricardo, I got a list for you. And she would leave me a list in my desk of things to do every day. And I will come back like half day and I'm all done, She's like, oh my God, how did you finish all that so quick, So she would make another list for me, another list. So sometimes she would make longer lists. And I would just do it over and over. And she was just so great that she gave me that hope, And I appreciated it because I started to work and I started to, do things on my own. And let me see what else happened then because a lot of stuff happened along the way.
yeah.
But get sidetracked from one thing to the other. So that's when I first came back. And that's when, remember, this is back in that time and when we were going out, things were going on. It's still like, remember, this is Georgetown. It's a huge thing at the time, going out and going to the clubs. So still friends were like, oh, come on, let's go here, let's go there, and your time off get you in a lot of trouble. But other than that, it was a time that I kind of was getting my life together in a way, getting more serious about things, and I respected and I really appreciated my family, because I was living with them for a while. So I came back and I started to live with them, but then after I didn't appreciate that I would have my own hours, we'll go to work, and then and play. I would play hard and go to work. Play hard and go to work. So
Work hard.
I wasn't sleeping a lot. So he would be like, I would come in at 3 in the morning and go out at 7:30 to go to work. So I'd be sleeping 2, 3, 4 hours a day. And one time, this is what happened to me. Look, I'm going to Maryland University, and this happened to me. This is a real story. So I'm going there, and at the time I had a couple of relationships, I had like 3, and I'm coming back. I've been up probably like 24 hours, but I had to go to work. I had to go over to work. So I'm driving back, and I'm driving a really funny car at the time. I was the only one running at the time at the house, and it was a Volkswagen 1966 or something like that.
Yeah.
It was like a 6-volt Volkswagen, like one of those with the chrome bumpers. And all that. So I'm driving that thing back, I'm driving it. It's a 4-speed. And I'm driving it. I'm on the left lane of the Beltway coming back. And a couple hours into the traffic, 20 minutes into the traffic, and I fall asleep.
Oh, yeah.
I fall asleep completely. And as I'm falling asleep, I'm sleeping and I'm already going off on the air. Sorry, I couldn't tell where I was or where I was. All I know is that I felt this boom.
Oof.
Somebody hit me right here, so hard in my chest. Like, oh my God! I feel the hit. And I'm holding the steering wheel and I'm in the air, going into onto the other side of the traffic coming. And I'm like, freaked out. I stop. Boom, boom. The car like this, and I turned. So I was in a. You said the car's coming this way, and I stopped right here on the side road. There was no media before.
Yeah.
There was no in between. It was wide open.
Yeah,
The billboard was this way and that way. You can run over and just turn around and make a U-V. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
On the grass area. So this time I'm looking at the traffic this way, and the cars are flying against me this way. And I'm just like, something just saved my life. But I could feel the hit in my chest. Like somebody did that to me. Okay, I don't care what anybody can tell you. Somebody hit me in the chest because I could feel the pain in my chest. I could feel it. The hit was so hard, like somebody saved my life. So it was a weird. That was one of the weirdest things in my life that happened. Because after that, I sat there for like half hour, and I'm like, oh my God. I drove really slowly to the other side.
Back to the side, yeah.
And I felt my chest, man. I felt the hit. I was like, what just happened? What just happened to me? I was like, oh my God. It was such a big hit in my chest. Like somebody went and went boom to my chest.
Wake up.
Yeah. Somebody woke me up. And the only way to wake me up would be that way. Nobody else could do it. I mean, it was somebody did it to me. Saved my life.
Man, that's crazy.
Saved my life. A little bit after that, all the girls find out what was going on. I got in a lot of trouble.
I know you had some stories with Larissa where you met some famous people. And those are some fun stories you love to talk to me about.
Well, that was the one. Okay, so we met quite a few people, me and her, because we just happened to go to these places where some people show up. Like, okay, well, this time she invited me to go to. I have a picture with her. I showed to you.
Yeah.
I have a picture with her and the Tonight Show. He was Jay Leno.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it's me, Jay Leno, and Larissa in the picture, and he's like, to my good friend Ricardo, blah blah blah. Because what happened is this: we end up. She invited me to the opening of the Taj Mahal. It was Trump and Michael Jackson, and it was the grand opening. And we got tickets to sit in the main dining room for the big dinner. So cameras are there everywhere. Boom, all stuff is going on, taking pictures of everything. So they make us go into the dining room. We got the invitations to get in there, and there's a little red, the little red felt things in between. And the table right next to us is Donald Trump and Michael Jackson. And Larissa's here and I'm here. And then the waiter comes to us like, would you like to meet them? And then she's like, yes. She's freaking out. I'm like, okay, sure, like no big deal. And it was a really funny story, because the funny story was that it's so real. Because I remember I was coming off work and I come home late, and I'm driving off from MacArthur Boulevard, and I'm running late, and I forgot my shoes. I got the suit, I grabbed everything, I grabbed everything to look sharp. I look great, but then I have no shoes. I have tennis shoes on, So I get there and everything was closed. It was fast. The taxi driver takes me to a place. It was like Walmart, and it was like plastic black shoes, the only thing that I find, in there. So I bought the plastic black shoes. They're like cheap little $7 shoes. And I remember so well that I'm wearing those, and I'm like, by the time I got there, I didn't really care. She's like, oh my God, those funny shoes. But I'm like, look, nobody's gonna look at them, And I end up getting there, and we're sitting right next to them. So they're like, would you like to meet us? So we end up meeting Donald Trump and Michael Jackson.
You met them?
I met them.
Wow.
We met
crazy.
them. It was the night of her life, because we met her, and she was like, I cannot believe that. And then we had tickets. She really wanted to meet Jay Leno, and she even tried to buy tickets to meet Jay Leno, but they couldn't get the tickets. And then when we were watching the show, right after the show, I was having we were getting Long Island iced teas, and we were just having a good time. But I was getting pretty ripped at the time. I was like feeling, oh man, I feel great. These things, what are these things? Long Island iced tea, they're awesome. And on my way out, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go meet this guy Jay Leno. I just in my mind, I'm like, forget it, let's go. So I'm like, here, follow me. He's like, where you going? Where you going? I'm like, follow me. So I go the other way. Everybody's walking out. I'm going backstage. I have a little experience doing backstage because of my friends. We used to go and sneak in the concerts and do things like that. And I go backstage, and there's a little Spanish lady cleaning up. And I said, you know where Jay's room is? Oh yeah, Jay's room is right over there where the star is. So I go in the back and I knock on the door. and Jay opens the door. This huge guy. He's a big boy, He looks down at us. He's like, "Hey." I said, "Hey, how you doing, Jay? My name is Ricardo. This is Larissa, and I collect classic cars." Oh, he grabs me like this and pulls me in. He's like, "I'm so bored in here with these people. They pay to watch me, they talk to me. Here, come in here." He starts talking to me. He starts talking. "Oh, what kind of car you have?" He's like, oh, he was all into it. He was like, "Man, you make my night."
Wow.
He sat there with us, took pictures with us. She couldn't believe it. She just made her night. It was her birthday too.
Oh wow.
It was my girlfriend's birthday at the time, so it was really an amazing night. And it was a great night. To me, it was just like it just happened, just everything fall into place. For her, it was like, how did you pull this off?
Sometimes you just got to go against the current, man. You got to do the opposite.
It just worked out so beautiful. It worked out amazingly, that it just happened like that. It was just one of those nights. I know she doesn't forget about it because she probably has the pictures in there somewhere. But yeah, it was one of those nights. It was nice that it just happened in once in a lifetime. Who knew Michael Jackson was going to die?
Right.
And Donald Trump was going to be president of the United States. nobody even thought of that. I knew he was a businessman. That's all I knew about it at the time. I had no idea. I know he opened the Taj Mahal, and he was showing off. So Lake Tahoe was one of those things that it was my family, sort of my family. I wanted to see. They moved up there. My father decided to go there, and then and my other brothers decided to go there. So they all moved up there, basically. So I said, "Why don't you move up here with us? Why don't you move up here with us?" And I said, "Okay, well, maybe I'll try it out." Every time I went up there, I felt like, I was out of place a little bit because there was not much to do except for skiing and water skiing and doing sports, and having a good time. But it wasn't like here, like the city,
Yeah, you get bored.
Yeah, so you think, things is going to go up, but it was a beautiful place. So I ended up going there, and I ended up opening a water ski school with a with a with a girl. Um, Anyways, I ended up doing a lot more things than that. But at the end, I end up going up there. I mean, there's so many things in Tahoe that I can tell you, but it's a beautiful place. It's just an amazing place. Um, we were blessed to have that water ski school there that she was able to put that deal together and brought me into it, really, because we even bought a house from this one guy. I bought a house from this guy. Um, he lived in Hawaii, and he ended up selling me the house and hers for I think 200,000 or 189,000 or something like that. It was an awesome house, and I fixed it all up. And her brother, her name was Cheryl. Um, her brother was Michael. Anyways, her brother was the nicest guy in the world, and he was a carpenter. He was a great carpenter. Like I learned from the guy from so much from him. He was really good. I thought I knew something, but he was like, he could take this table and make furniture out of it. You know what I mean? He was that type of guy. He would save every little piece of wood, and he would make things wonderful. And I ended up picking up the house and fixing it up, and he had like this beautiful view. But there's so many things that happened before that. But let's say, I opened the water ski school, and it happened to be that we opened it up at, the Welsh family, the Welsh, the drink,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
okay? The Welsh, the California racing type of thing. Anyways, they own, the Welsh family owned um, the place where we opened the ski school at, and they loved her. They loved her because she was teaching them how to water ski and do things with her. So she was just doing waitressing jobs there and stuff like that. But then she told them, "Hey, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna open a water ski." It's like, "Oh, you got a spot here." So we opened a spot right on the lake, a little tiny shop right on the lake, selling bathing suits and doing water ski. We saw a lot of bathing suits, a lot of women bathing suits, expensive bathing suits, crazy bathing suits and water skis. Like actually really expensive water ski as well. So you can name it. We sold in that little store, but we happened to be so lucky that we were right at the pier where all the boats came in. So people would be ready to spend money, and it was at the Sunsets. It's called Sunsets, and it was a great experience. It was paradise, really. The sun every morning, coming every morning, you're in there, you're like wearing a bathing suit, having a good time, and you're meeting people all day long, and you're selling things, and it was just a great thing from the beginning to the end. Had a great experience at that water ski school.
It's pretty cool.
But there's so many things that happened along the way there. Because remember, I had to fix the house, I had to take care of the ski boat, I had to run the place. We did so many things.
Yeah, I'm
It was
sure it's
so
not
busy.
easy.
We were up in the morning. We had to open up at 6 in the morning. I think it was open for water skiers. I ended up selling water ski tickets. And when you sold those tickets, they were like $800 a season, and people bought them like crazy. So people would show up between 6 and 8 to use the tickets to do water skiing. You know, so you would just run the boats, and people would just run behind you, boom, 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 and just go water ski. And and then after that, it was just people coming in and selling and doing whatever we need to do in between, and keeping the shop open, and selling whatever we had. We sold everything, and it was just busy, 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 busy. Like you would have loved something like that for a while, because you were doing whatever you wanted to do. If you wanted to work out, if you have a gym and you're working out at the same time. But this was water skiing, and it was fun. But then no time to do anything.
Yeah, so that way you
Yes.
stopped?
Came the nighttime. Well, no, because it was seasonal. So come the snow time, remember,
Yeah.
it's only 3 months out of the year, 4 months out of the year there. The rest of it gets cold. It's in the mountains. You're
Yeah.
12,000 feet up in the air, and it gets cold. But during the summer, it's just beautiful. But then as soon as the snow comes, people are skiing in the mountain. So you have to shut down the water school. So it was seasonal only.
Yeah.
We did it for a couple of seasons, and then that was pretty much it. Then we had to. Then what happened is she wanted to get married, and I didn't at the time. I wasn't ready to get married. I started seeing other girls and got myself in trouble over there. But that's what happened.
Now you're working out. I got you into working out about a month ago.
I'm loving it. It's
Everybody
amazing.
sees it, man.
Oh, wow,
Everybody, I
that's
post it
amazing.
every day. Us working out. When we took that one rest day.
I'm loving that. That's the most amazing. I'm so grateful to you that you're actually getting me to do that. Which I love it.
You've been busy your entire life, man, and you get the chance now to do it. I'm so happy.
Oh no, I'm amazing that I'm making time for it too. I'm sure a lot of people don't like it because they need me, but you know what? It's time for to take care of myself. Really, I'm enjoying every minute of it.
Man.
I'm enjoying every minute of it, and I'm like, because life passes you by so quickly, you don't realize it. You end up doing so many things for other people, and nobody really cares. Nobody appreciates it.
Those things fly, man. You gotta prioritize yourself to a degree.
Yeah, no, that's 100%. I'm with you 100% on that. So I realized that more and more in the last 6 months of my life. It's really weird, but in the last 2 months, I say 3 months of my life, I'm taking a little bit of time. I end up, doing some things to say, okay, no, I'm going to put some time to myself. And I know some people got hurt along the way, because people are expecting me to do this and expecting me to do that, but I decided that I'm going to put some time into that. So I'm grateful for that.
So how's it feeling? We're about a month in almost, man.
I'm feeling great.
It's incredible.
Physically, I'm feeling a different human being almost.
You feel younger?
I'm feeling younger. I'm feeling like I'm rejuvenating. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know. I'm breathing better and I feel better.
Your posture's getting better.
I feel like you have more energy now since the last time I talked to you.
Definitely. I feel that.
And even though you're just coming off of being
even though I was
sick,
pretty sick though. I mean, every day.
I
haven't gotten sick like that either in a long time. I don't know if I was sort of in a going mode not to think about myself. Maybe I was sick and I never felt it. You know what I mean? Or I would just have a drink and not forget about it. I haven't done anything, so I've been like, pretty much focusing to working out and trying to stay in one lane,
Yeah.
Which has been nice.
Yeah, I'm glad. I've seen it, man. I'm seeing it. It's better energy. I can feel it.
Oh, I can feel it.
What's your diet like too? Have you changed your diet at all, or no?
I'm eating eggs and I'm trying to change my diet better.
More protein?
I'm trying to stay away from dough.
Yeah, he told me less bread, like long bread sandwiches with the cheese, the meat, the oven.
I love those things.
I know.
But the things
the baguettes.
It's hard to get used to. It's hard not to eat it.
Yeah. What's your routine?
Because I'm used to. Like I love this one bread downtown. Okay, they got this called Best Bread. Oh my God, it's delicious. I don't know how to put it. That French bread with butter is like, oh my God. And a piece of cheese is like, man, that's all you need. You know what I mean? But it's it's not good for you.
Yeah.
I decided to stop bread years ago, and then a friend of mine came in the picture. His name is Tom. You know Tom.
Yeah.
Tom Marley.
Going with that anyway.
Him too. Tom Marley. Remember, he was at the house a couple times.
Man, you're not gonna remember him, man. He would always talk to us. He's pretty funny back then.
Crazy dude. But anyways, very wild guy. And he got me to eat bread again. He's like, come on, you gotta have some bread. And I'm like, okay, man, let's have some French bread. And then I got into the French bread again. Because when I was living at the old house at Warner, Kevin came next door and they would buy French bread all the time. So then I started to get it again. But then when I moved out, then I said, no, I'm not going to eat any more bread for a while. just psychologically, I was thinking, okay, that's it, no more bread, slow down with the bread, but then I was still eating pasta. So now I'm
A lot of carbs.
Yeah,
a lot of carbs, and that's
always
coming.
carbs.
Those are heavy carbs, man.
And that's what
Yeah.
keeps you thick,
It's just the calories, man. But yeah,
But
it's,
remember,
those
I'm
things
working
add
all
up
the time.
quickly. You don't even think about it.
I'm working all the time, so
5 pieces of bread
when
like
I was
that for
working all the
seconds.
time, it was different. Now I'm
3
not working that much, Which I might want to take a contract again, but right now I'm not. Try to find a way not to do it. Actually,
That's the goal. Find a way to make you get money without
yeah.
to fucking
If I can find another way, that would be really
physical
amazing
being,
because
man.
I want to have time to work out. I want to have time to go have some fun,
and live, man, and go vacation, do these
Yeah.
things, and see your family, man. It's
Correct.
important.
I do. Time is
You
flying
can't
by.
let time blink by, man.
That's so true. I mean, that's what I feel about my parents. I feel like they're getting up there, and I haven't had any time. And remember, Michael is taking a lot of my time, and Michael is 18, 19 now, correct?
Yeah, we can talk a little about Michael. So I've introduced Michael's my little brother, and he had hydrocephalus growing up, so he's 19 now. He can't walk or talk, and he's impacted our lives a lot, and especially yours, man. You got to put.
God, so you're talking about all these things in the last. I mean, look, you're talking about the last 20 years of my life, which I just been working, pretty much, because I haven't had time to go. We didn't even take no vacations, actually.
We went
very rare. Yeah.
Maybe we went on one when I was like 5, and then we went on one last year,
Oh
man.
yeah, beach trip.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
2 vacations in your entire life.
That's insane.
I remember that one time though, I was at the
sense.
beach and I look ahead and I see you swimming out into some key memory for me, man. You're swimming out so far I can't even see you anymore. I'm like, is puppy dead? And then you come back like 20 minutes later and I'm like crying, like screaming, and then you're like, oh, it's okay, what's wrong? And I'm like, I thought you were dead, man. You freaking disappeared into the ocean, like David Hasselhoff. Like literally ocean man. I don't know. It's pretty inspirational
I used to love the ocean because I grew up in the ocean. My father threw me in. Okay, look, the first time I went in, I was so scared to go swimming. He was a little butthole, like he came over and just went. He's like, oh no, look, boom, he threw me in there. Because he grew up swimming way out in the ocean. He grew up in the coast, so he knew how to. They have these floating platforms way out there, and you swim to them. And then you got all sorts of animals. I mean, you're talking about sea lions. You're talking about huge things. That they come out there. They come and rock your boat.
Yeah.
They come and hit your boat. These huge animals underwater. They come and hit your boat. You're like, what the hell is this going on? You're like, pretty scary stuff.
Yeah.
When you're a kid, you're like, oh man, they hit the boat. They want food. So they're like they're harmless. They won't hurt you. But they're slimy. You ever seen the big they hang out in San Francisco. You ever seen them at the pier?
I've seen the sea lions.
Yeah, the sea lions are huge. So in Chile, they're all over the place. They're all over the place. Yeah. They go to seafood and all that. But he used to that. So then I wasn't. Then he used to take us to the ocean. Every time we went to the ocean, and then there was what's the name of this hotel? It's a famous hotel in Chile. Half of the pool, there's a huge pool next to the hotel, and it's an ocean pool. It's made out of rock.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so they made it part of the hotel. So part of it is fish and all that in there, and you swim in there. And then if you want, you can go through this one area and you can get out into the ocean.
That's badass.
Damn.
Yeah, it's really cool. We're gonna have to go there one day. Because we'll go there.
Gotta go. You gotta do it now, man. One day never comes.
But we will.
Yeah, I'll tag along.
We will now. We
gotta go. Yeah, this summer, man. We don't got one day is a guarantee.
This summer sounds like a plan.
Look,
let's go.
Now, we're gonna sort pricing too. We're not gonna tell them we're coming. We're just gonna show up over there. Because my parents are pretty old. They're getting treatment right now. My mother is on therapy because she broke her hip.
Told me that.
Really bad. So she's on therapy. And my father is I think he's getting to the years are getting to him. So he doesn't remember all the way. He remembers me when I talk to him, but he's up there. Man,
we gotta see him.
He started to shake. They went into a huge boat cruise with Maria, and then after that, it was like he didn't feel well. He said, I don't feel good. My hand is shaking out of control. I can't control it. He's saying all these things to me, and I was like, my brother put it on the line and said, show me. He said, tell me what's going on. He said, my father don't feel that well. He's not feeling that good. He's just letting you guys know. Whoever wants to come and see him, come and see him now. So it's one of those things. Man. He's up there.
Time.
I mean, he's 89 years old right now.
Yeah.
And he's lived a full life. And remember, he always wanted to be in control. He's the one that never believed in anything outside this world. He's the one that saw the same thing my mother saw. My mother's her mind is totally there. Because she remembers every little actor and every little actress in the world, But yeah.
It's pretty interesting, man. But yeah, where are we leaving off? How do you want to leave this off at uni? We're almost probably on time.
But the working out and everything else. I mean, look, we could have talked about so many other things, but we'll make another one.
Yeah.
We will.
Keep coming, I guess.
We'll be back, man.
There's always room for more.
Yeah, no, and I got some crazy stories too, but I don't want to talk too dirty stories. Like
yeah. Of
crazy
course,
stuff,
keep
but I got
it
some crazy
decent,
stuff.
man. We keep it decent.
You know,
You can talk, but you
because I mean,
just
people
gotta.
are gonna get
It's all the way you word things now online, man. If you say it in a respectful tone, you talk respectfully about it,
yeah,
then it's
true.
fine, man. It's not a big deal. But
But
that's how it
imagine
is,
you
you
at
know.
7 years old, or you're getting in trouble like I
Yeah,
did. It's pretty much big trouble. I mean, you're a little kid, you don't know what you're
yeah. You
doing.
gotta be real about it too.
You're
But it's a
scared. You're
mixture, man.
scared
That's
of
what life
anything.
is.
That's what happened. I
It's
mean,
pretty cool.
trust me. You're there with another kid. Another kid wants to do something crazy like that. And it's like, I'm gonna shoot you and shoot you. I looked at my other friend. I said, "Hey, man, you hear what he just
Yeah,
said?"
man, but I gotta say the impact this has had on me learning, like the impact it
Yeah.
might have on someone listening, is like I heard a lot of these things growing up, and for me, it was like, yeah, I know I shouldn't be an idiot. Like I know I should never do something like that,
Yeah.
because I heard this firsthand how crazy your life was, how some of the stuff you went through impacted you, and how
Yeah.
you try to tell me not to do that. So you
Yeah.
learn through that, and you learn through the experiences, man. That's what the podcast is all about. Us talking about people's stories
That is true.
and
That
listening
is
to
true.
people's
To
stories,
learn from each other,
we don't have to go through the stupid shit.
and live experience, live the life. This is life. Life is an experience itself.
Yeah, man.
So this is what it's all about. But you see, when I start to talk about it, I remember things. So that's why I love to put everything as the time period, because then at the
It's
end,
impossible, man. We're never doing that.
other things come up. You see, I remember other things as I go through it. I remember other things. Oh my God, that happened. So as soon as I get in the car, I'll remember something else. It's just the way life goes.
I mean, I think that's the best part about it, that you jump around, man. That's how stories are told. You never tell. If you write a book, you tell it in linear. But in life, man, you tell stories when they come up. When's it valuable? You told me a lot of these stories growing up when I needed to hear them, not when it was in timeline. You said one day it's like, oh, you're talking about this. Marco, this happened to me.
Can
And
I
I
tell you
learned
a story
that.
about when I used to go in the fishing thing?
You just fish with your hands, right?
Oh yeah, no, we fish with our hands. That was definitely fishing with the hands. But I remember one time I used to go into the fisherman's wharf. It was like the area where all the fishermen used to keep their stuff in there. And I had a little knife like this. My brothers used to send me down with a rope to get the abalones. And I used to go down and get them down. But the waves will come in and hit you. And if you don't get down on the water, you can get thrown against the rocks, and hurt you, because the rocks are really rough. And my two older brothers used to tie me up and then pull me down the cliff so I can get in there. The abalones are in the hardest spot, to get them. The real big ones are really hard. And you have to go with a knife and hit them on the side right here. They're stuck to the thing right here. You got to go pop, 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 hit them until they open, because they're like a sucker,
It's like an oyster, right?
Well, it's bigger. And look, the abalone can be as big as this, all white meat, and the abalone is this big, okay?
Sounds pretty delicious.
It's this big, and when you cut it, it's just like a piece of white meat steak, and it's delicious once you do it. But you got to beat it. You got to beat it really hard, okay? You got to beat this thing, and once you get it out, you put it in a tire, and they beat it. So I used to get them. Well, one time I find out, I look down, and I said, "Hey man, look at all the abalone they got down there," So they put them in sacks. They put oysters. They put everything you imagine in sacks, so they keep them alive. They got them in there. So I found a way to get in there, and I'm a kid. I mean, remember, I'm a really young kid, and I swim in there into this thing from the other side. I'm a really good swimmer in the ocean back then, So I swim underneath, and I come into their it's nighttime. They're drinking, they're hanging out, drinking. They're not doing anything. I will come in and open the little sacks and
Scammer, man.
and then come out again and go out again, and come out. And I was like, oh my God, I got away with it. Unbelievable. I got away with it. My brothers were like, how many did you get? They were like, where did you get this? I was like, oh, I got it from the fisherman's wharf, They were like, they will kill you.
That's some sneaky stuff. That's funny,
And
man.
we used to get the watermelons, okay? The watermelons from one place. We used to go in there and take them. I mean, the guy had like a huge farm of watermelons, and we used to camp out on this side. My father used to go and say, okay, Luis was the guy who used to take care of us, and another lady, and be like, okay, you guys are staying here. I'll give us 3 tents, and all the kids stay there. Kids will stay here. You guys have 10 for you guys, and then they will give supplies and whatever else, and we camp out. We just love being camping out by the ocean. And we used to go get the watermelons, and you have to go take them, You have to take them from this guy. This guy had a assault rifle, and he hit us in the back of the legs. I remember burning to death, man. He hit us with a salt,
Oh, it was a
sea
salt rifle.
Yeah,
Okay.
he would sea salt. He would use a sea salt and burn the shit out of your skin when he
I
hit
didn't
you.
even know it was a thing.
He would be hiding in there. He would love this because all the kids would do it. We got like kids sneaking up in there. All these little kids, all the little kids are coming in there. You're like the little rascals.
Yeah.
Exactly like that. They'd be like, "Hey man, come on, let's go get some." We sneak in there. And we were running away with the water. We got the little car. We got the watermelons. We were running up. You hit it with the salt. And it'll be like, they're like, and we leave the watermelons behind and we're running with our lives.
That's a
Like
funny
little
story. I
rascals.
love
It
that.
was pretty funny stuff. Pretty funny.
Man,
I'll
Papi, you got an
I'll
interesting
never
life. I love
forget
it, man.
that. I'll never forget those things.
Yeah, you got an amazing life, man.
I'm sure the people are gonna love it. Anything you want to ask before we finish up?
No, I mean, I think we hit a lot of great stuff. We'll get you back for a third time.
We're gonna have
Why
you
not?
on, yeah, man.
Yeah, I'll remember some more.
Time this thing comes
Time
to
will
an
tell.
end,
Crazy
bro.
stuff. My crazy life. Here goes. Congratulations, guys.
Cheers,
Thanks
man.
for having me here.
Yes, sir. Fresh water. Wait. Oh,
Salud.
God bless.
To your podcast. Hopefully one day you guys will make it big on this.
Hey, gotta keep going, man. Every day.
Number 1 episode. Episode 5 closed, guys.
Yeah.
Hope you enjoy it. Have a
Thank
good
you,
one.
Ricardo Martinez.
You're
Yeah,
very
love you,
welcome.
puppy. Have a good one.